All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, this is another wonderful day to come on and share with you all in another Career on Wheels segment. We have some wonderful guests that will be joining us today. And as always, we ask that you um, make sure that you like and share this post with your friends and family members. Make sure that you spread the word about what we're doing every Tuesday with our College Talk 101 and our Career on Wheels segment. And so, as we get ready to journey into today's segment, I just want to share with you a little bit of who we have today on our live feed that'll be sharing with you all in this wonderful, wonderful experience today. We have Lieutenant General himself, Leslie Smith, that'll be joining us today. And also, we have Attorney Maya Rogers that will be joining us today. And so, as we get ready to embark today, go ahead and share, take time to spread the word about this experience here. And make sure that while you're on, that you continue to share the good news about our college and career fairs with everybody that you know. And so uh, even now, we have a variety of clubs and organizations joining us from across Boys and Girls Club of America. And so we're so thankful for you all joining us, supporting us, and being a part of this awesome experience with us. And so as we continue to do these experiences, we want you all to know to feel free in the comment sections to drop names of potential speakers, drop names of potential colleges that you would like to come and see on our platform. So we're just giving a few moments for other listeners and viewers to come on and join us. And then we will get started. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. We've had a wonderful day here doing our meal program. And so we're so thankful for everybody that supports what we do here as Boys and Girls Club of Albany. Also, we do have some other things that we are working on and planning for our team. So stay tuned. Team programming will be going to another notch coming Monday. And so stay tuned for all marketing material that will go out towards that. And so, hey, as always, make sure that you continue to share. If you're joining from another Boys and Girls Club, go ahead and start dropping in the likes and the comments section where you are watching and tuning in from. We want to be able to shout you all out for what you're doing to support the wonderful work of Boys and Girls Club across America. So I'm waiting on today we have Major. Again, I say Major Leslie Smith, who's coming on today to share with us. And in just a few moments, we'll be bringing him on and he'll share his experiences with us and what he has to offer. You would be amazed at the type of people who ask to come and share with you all in this wonderful, wonderful event. And so, hey, in just a few moments, we'll be going live with General Major Smith and then Miss Maya Rogers. But check out this wonderful video from our Faces of the Future Breakfast. Hello.
I am a freshman at Doherty Comprehensive High School. Hello, my name is Taylor Walker. I am a freshman at Doherty Comprehensive High School. I attend Thornton Park Boys and Girls Club. I aspire to be a successful graphic designer or a science teacher.
All right. So each week we'll be highlighting one of our wonderful Youth of the Year candidates who has done major work in preparing for their Youth of the Year competition this year. And so we have amazing group of high school students that are actually on the pathway to some who's completing high school, and then some that's actually on the pathway to actually graduating from high school. So shout out to the class of 2020. We're actually just waiting now for Major Smith to log on, and then we will go from there. But in the meantime, in between time, hey, listen, again, to shout out again to the Boys and Girls Club from Middleton, New York, and Circleville, New York. How are you? Hey, thanks so much. It looks like we got everything together here.
Good. Put it back up on the screen. Are you speaking now? Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All
Appreciate
right.
you
Hey,
taking
thank you so
with
much for
me.
taking time out of your schedule to come on our live today to share with our listeners and viewers from across Boys and Girls Club of America.
I'm proud to be here.
Hey, and we know that you're doing such great work out on the fields and for the organization of Boys and Girls Club of America in general. So, if you don't mind, just sharing a little information about yourself with the viewers and listeners.
Sure. My name is Leslie Steve Smith. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I've attended Boys and Girls Club there. I've been in the Army for 34 years. In this job, I am the Inspector General for the United States Army. So, what that means is I work for the Secretary of the Army and the Chief of Staff of the Army, and I'm responsible for inspections, assistance, and investigations for 1.2 million soldiers and civilians. So I'm not like a cop, but we kind of do some of those investigation type things. But my goal is to help people get better in the jobs they do.
Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. In 34 years, that's a long time.
Yeah,
That's
that
longer than I've been living.
That's okay.
And hearing that you're from the Georgia area and that you've been a part of the Boys and Girls Club, we count it as an honor to have a Boys and Girls Club alum to come on and share with us during this segment today.
Sure.
So if we can dive a little deep into who you are in the conversation, has it always been your dreams to be in the military?
Yeah, I think so. My story is my dad died when I was 5 years old, so uh, I always knew I wanted to serve because I used to watch all those movies. You know, your mom tells you what you have the capacity to do. You probably remember this movie called Rat Patrol, but some of the older people like me who know here probably remember that. I watched GI Joe, and no, and everybody remembers GI Joe
Yep,
as
I
a kid.
remember GI Joe.
But for our listeners, I will tell you the biggest thing is that you're in the right place where you need to be, and that place, even during coronavirus, is where you need to be. So we have to take advantage of all of those opportunities that are there, and then people who care about you, like the Boys and Girls Club, like YMCA, like your counselors, like your parents or other folks that take care of you, listen to them, and they're trying to get you in the right direction.
And so, even with you growing up here, losing your father, what was your aspirations of going off to college? Were you first generation to go off to college?
No, so for our listeners too, I would tell you Google this place called Mound Bayou, Mississippi. That's in the Mississippi Delta. So it was founded by freed slaves, four men, and my on my father's side, on the Calvin Smith, Moses Smith side, they many of them had gone to college before. There were 10 in their family, growing up in the Delta there. But they always told, "Hey, you should do something great." So my
Hmm.
expectation, just like we have expectations for the young folks that are in the clubs now, to have a plan. That's to get a job, get a trade, go to school, join the military, all those different options to succeed in life. So I was always told you have the ability to do it. Insert your name in that spot, and we have high expectations for you.
And high expectations is what we believe in here at the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, really pushing in at selling, and driving people to be better and to see something in themselves that they normally wouldn't get a chance to see anywhere else. Can
Sure.
you talk about your experiences of growing up in the Boys and Girls Club? We have listeners from all over the country
Right.
that's listening and tuning in. So can you share to our teams
Sure.
about how much the Boys and Girls Club impacted your life?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, for me, it was just a boys' club initially, and for some of our younger folks, it was some tough times in Atlanta. That's where I'm from. uh, in the summers with some young people becoming missing. So my mom wanted to make sure that I, especially, because I was a middle kid at the time, had a good place to go and spend time. So I refined learning how to swim there. Played a lot of basketball, as everybody still does, and I had never been on a trampoline before, so I did a whole bunch of activities associated with that. I really think the biggest thing is Boys and Girls Club and every other venue that moves you forward and makes you stronger is what you should participate in. And there are a lot of things that can take you down the wrong road. You just got to listen to those folks again, as I mentioned earlier, who are speaking positive in your life, who want you to succeed in what you do.
And so when you talk about the influence of your first experience of trampoline and
Yeah.
jumping, um, do you think that being in the military now has really helped your experience and the impact more people's lives today?
Yes. So the me doing this session with you guys will bless me as much or more than me blessing you. And what I
Mm.
mean by that is we all receive gifts. So some people might say my one of my gifts is a gift of gab, talking a lot. But the point is I have to invest in the people and the places that invested in me. And the reason for that is because the return on the investment is the next done trivius who will be the next CEO of a Boys and Girls Club somewhere. See what I just spoke to you? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And my point also too is that somebody within the club will be the next Lieutenant General Smith. That's how important this is. Or the next CEO, Boys and Girls Club of the United States of America. Uh, all those things are possibilities. We just have to be the vehicles that are used to give people opportunities to
Exactly.
succeed in themselves.
Mm-hmm. And so I know we often push. We're in facing COVID-19 now, and so many things are happening in our country.
Yeah.
And so, with our young adults and teens and children that are listening, I want you to really grasp the knowledge that Major is sharing with you all, and knowing that hey, you can amount to anything as long as you put your mind into it and you drive and keep pushing, you can amount to anything. Can you share a little with us also about your aspirations? Are you making the military? It's already been a career for you,
Yeah.
but
So
longevity wise, is this do
right.
you see yourself lasting a little while longer? Are
So
moving up in the ranks to retirement.
yeah. I'm retirement eligible now. So it's Lieutenant General. Okay. So Major Pope is my aide. That was the guy you were working with. So
Okay.
Lieutenant, let me give you some context. There are 1.2 million soldiers, both
Mm-hmm.
officers, enlisted, and civilians. There are about 350 general officers from 1 star to 4. There are 45 3-star generals. Okay, you understand the context of what we're talking about now? So
Mm-hmm.
now you're one of 45 out of 1.2. Okay,
Wow.
so yeah, that's a big deal. But it's a big deal, but it's what we all have the ability to achieve. So when you figure out that you have a calling, and me serving in the military is a calling, because I'm called to support and defend the Constitution, which is an idea, right? What's the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you're from Atlanta, Georgia, via Mississippi, went to school at Georgia Southern. Didn't tell you that part. You probably read that in the bio.
Yes, sir.
Just a guy from Georgia can become the Inspector General for the Army. And so I'm called to do this job. And then until I'm called to do something else, which will probably be next summer, I'll probably retire after 35 years of service unless I get some other job or another promotion. So I've been blessed to be where I am today, and my family has been blessed to do the things that we need to do.
Wow. Now, what you just said was real life knowledge in history. That
Sure.
really just blew my mind. From reading your bio, and having a chance to see from somebody graduating from Georgia Southern, going up in the ranks of the military. Can you speak to the wide range of audience of young people that we have listening now? Just shed some knowledge and wisdom to them during this whole COVID-19 process. We have several graduates that was kind of down because they didn't get a chance to graduate across the stage with family members yelling and screaming. Can you just share some wisdom and knowledge to them?
Sure. First, it is still a great feat. We're so proud of you. I would scream, but I probably like, oh, I won't do that. But, but it is a big deal. But understand that a dream deferred to graduation does not diminish the dream. And what I mean by that is just because you cannot walk across the stage right now, we are proud of you, right? There's
Mhm.
so many people in general who do not excel to get to graduation. Some of the folks who do not excel to get to finish their bachelor's degree, or finish their master's degree, or finish their PhD degree, their doctorate degree. But you have achieved one step, and that step is important because it's a stepping stone for where you want to go. So many of you that I've met, because I'm looking online here on Facebook, that I've met before, is that that we all have a responsibility to help each other. So I would tell you, look at all the options that are there. And since I'm an Army guy, there's 150 jobs that you could be in the Army, from cybersecurity to military intelligence person to explosive ordnance disposal. Or like me, I'm a weapons of mass destruction guy, or an infantryman, or a logistician, or whatever those things are that are there. And you can do it as an officer like me with 4 years of college, or you can come straight out of high school to provide different opportunities. So my daughter, who graduated from Georgia Southern almost 2 years ago now, will be starting school at Howard University for medical school in the fall. And guess
Wow.
what? The Army's paying for it. Let me
Wow.
say, the Army's paying for it. Could I say the Army's paying for it? The reason why I tell you is that one other thing that we got to look at, and this is for parents and for our young folks, is that the cost of education, it continues to grow up. So we got to
Hmm.
make sure we got to make sure that we're looking at options and opportunities to be successful in what we need to do. College debt is a big deal. That's been a problem across the board.
And even so, when you talk about the opportunities that the military have, my brother is in the Army Reserves now, and so he's stationed in Savannah. And
Okay.
so there's so many opportunities that are out there surrounding the military, surrounding the GI Bill and benefits for education. Listeners, teens, hey, don't miss this opportunity of joining your armed forces and getting connected. Hey, that's a free opportunity. Listening to the lieutenant himself saying he went to 4 years of Georgia Southern, then got in the military. Hey, and somebody just text this to me. They want to know how was your experience at Georgia Southern.
Well, what do you think? Come on. When I, it was 6,000 students. So it's like almost 26,000 now. So Georgia Southern probably was the one of the seminal points because I'm from Atlanta. Anything south of Macon was country back then, right? And then
Hmm.
so people were like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "What are you speaking to me? What's going on?" But two things, many great things out of Georgia Southern. But one thing, I joined the ROTC program, and I was in the Georgia National Guard. The second thing is I met my wife Benedra there, and the third
Okay.
thing, oh yeah, that's right, I met her, Georgia Peach. I married Georgia Peach. And the third thing is that we thought it was so important that our youngest went to Georgia Southern. So we
Wow.
have three people from our family that went to Georgia Southern. Our oldest went to Virginia Commonwealth. That's a great school, also. But I'm just telling you, you got to take advantage of the opportunities that are provided to you. Because today, especially for the graduates, there are so many opportunities that exist. Take advantage again of those people who are there. Talk to your counselors, ask them questions, but don't
Hmm.
be afraid to make the what some people think is a hard call, but it is the right call. I see you as you've climbed up this hill. Now you're right at the edge of the hill, and you're trying to figure out, do I go forward or do I go back? You can't go back because you've already worked to get to this point. Some people think that you're going to be dropping off a cliff. I'm saying you're just going to take a step down to the next direction that you need to go. Take the step. Do not be afraid to do it because there are other people that are here to help you be successful. I'm one of them.
Hey, and we know that you are listening. I hope our listeners got a chance to gain some valuable information from you about your life journey, about the process that you've taken to get where you are today. It's just an honor for me personally, just to host you and to be able to interview you live, and to hear all of the great things that you have done. And me myself personally do understand that Georgia Southern does produce some wonderful grads and some wonderful educated women as well.
That's right.
And so we're constantly pushing our teens and viewers as well across the Boys and Girls Club of America to know that they have opportunities that's available for them, that the sky is truly the limit. And so, hey, Major Lieutenant, Major Pope, thank you so much. Major
Lieutenant
Pope,
General,
thank you so much for making this happen. And Lieutenant
I
Smith,
got
hey,
one
yes,
thing
sir.
ready. Can I show you guys a video real quick and then talk about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want to show you a video called "Why We Fight," and I want to talk about why that is so important and how it applies to what we're going to do today. All right, everybody, watch this video, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Can you guys hear that? Regardless, whether you're male or female, if you're gay or straight, don't care if you are black or white or Asian.
I can hear it, but I can't see it. Do you want to show it?
Yeah, we're trying to show it right now. Hold on one second.
Okay.
He's working through the technology details here. Do you guys
Okay.
up? So my aide is a computer engineer guy. So this is driving him crazy that he doesn't have to make it happen right now. The screen says that we're backstage.
All right.
All right. So while we're waiting on him, give me some more questions from your audience.
All right. So here's one other question that has came in. One of our team listeners and viewers wanted to know what inspiration would you share to somebody that doesn't know which branch of the military they would like to go in?
Yeah, I would say take a chance to look at all of them. Talk to people who are in there, and then don't be afraid to you can send me a note. You can other people want to see you succeed, but listen to people who've been there, not the people who are
Hmm.
just talking about stuff. If that makes sense to you, right? Because
Hmm.
there's a lot of options, but what you will find, especially and I'm from Georgia, especially sometimes in young folks, and even me. My good friend chose not to do Army ROTC. He's a good guy. Different track that we've gone. We've both been successful, but don't be afraid of the options and opportunities that are there.
Hmm. And
All right, give me
so
another.
another student just sent me this. They wanted to know exactly um, how have you supported your children decision into the military? Did you encourage them to go?
No, 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 no. So I have two daughters. One is 27, the other's 24. So they would argue that they have already been in the military because they've moved around from place to place. I think, and let me just back up a little bit. So service is what I'm talking about, and that service could be in the military. That service could be working in a school. That service could be working in Boys and Girls Club. Something that's bigger than yourself. I chose the military option, right? Because
Hmm.
once you start doing something big for yourself, then you show that you have the ability to do different things. And so
Hmm.
I would say again, get yourself around people just like the folks that are in Boys and Girls Club. Those people who love you, those people who care for you. Even during the COVID crisis, you got your leaders reaching out to you, checking on you, see how you're doing. That shows you the people who care for you, and then latch onto those people, listen to what they say, follow their directions, and then you will be sitting here having a video with somebody 10 years or 15 years down the road.
Hey, that is so true. That is so true. So I believe Major Pope has the screen up. We're gonna give it. Let's
All right, let's
see.
do it one more time. That's good. That's good. My mic was on. That's why you couldn't hear.
All right, Major. Thank you so much, Major Pope, for that.
So the whole premise behind that, and I'll finish with this. Now I'll stay here as long as you want me to answer questions because I'm good on time. Is that we are all here. You heard that from the preamble of uh, the Declaration of we're all created equal. And if you
Mm-hmm.
heard, it's now our current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, talks about that we will be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. And that came from Martin Luther King Jr. in one of his speeches. Why that's important is that what you got to understand is that yes, you have to work hard. Yes, there will be obstacles. Yes, people might not always treat you right. But your requirement, and folks that serve in the military and those who serve others, we fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
We fight for your ability to have this video here against both enemies, both foreign and domestic. And the enemy that we're fighting now is called coronavirus 2019. So that's why you got to follow the rules.
Yep.
That's why you got to take care of yourself. That's why we're doing the things that we can do so we can have the ability to go to our Falcons football game. We can have to go to that Georgia Southern school, other things that we need to do in order to do the things that we're called to do. All right, I got time for a couple more questions, and then we can go from there.
All right, we got one more question, and then we
Okay.
got another guest that we're going to bring on.
All right.
And so here's our next question. Somebody saw your Falcons football, so they want to know what is your favorite football team and who's your favorite player?
Oh my gosh. So Falcon football, of course. I mean, a lot of those guys. I mean, Julio Jones is great. I just leave it at that. I mean, but if I could find a picture, and if I find it, I'll send it to you. I've been a Falcons fan, wearing Tommy Nobis jersey, and the old Falcons guys know what I'm talking about. Way back in the day. So just thank you for allowing us to participate today, and
Hey, thank you.
Trevius, thank you for reaching out to us. I talked to the president of Boys and Girls Club about you this
Oh wow.
past. Yeah, and he told me that he was getting other guys, and hopefully we can continue this dialogue and discussion because we are invested not only in the club down there, but the clubs across America because we know what you're doing, and so
Well,
you
we
guys,
thank you.
and we're all on the same team. What we say in
Yes,
the Army:
sir.
people first, winning matters. Army strong. Whoa.
All right. Hey, we thank you so much. And that means a lot for me, and especially our CEO, Mr. Marvin Laster, for all that you're doing and how you've taken out time of your schedule to come on and share today with us. And hey, we'll be in touch. So anytime you land in Georgia, you make sure that you find Albany and we will host you with the best of our abilities in the good life city.
Yeah, I've been down there covered 2, 3 times. Good stuff. Good people.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And hey, anytime you need us, we are here.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care of
All
yourself.
right. All right, so that was Lieutenant Smith. Hey, he done a wonderful job in making major moves in our military ranks. And I hope that you take capture of the information that was shared with you today. The jewels that he dropped with you today were life changing, even for me. To be able to speak with someone of his magnitude and hear and listen to a true legend and historian in my book. And so even now, as we prepare for our next guest, Miss Maya Simmons Rogers, who I consider to be a big sister to me. as she comes on and share about her experiences. And so I'm going to bring her on now. Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Hey, it's an honor to have you on here today.
It's my honor and my pleasure.
Hey, so everybody's been so excited to get a chance to tune in and hear what the lawyer has to say today.
Well, I'm excited.
so, so can you just tell us a little about yourself? We know you're Albany native, and so we have people tuned in from New York and everywhere today. So, can you just share some information about yourself?
Of course. Well, my name is Maya Simmons Rogers, and I'm from Albany, Georgia, not Albany, New York. I was born and raised in Albany, a proud graduate of Westover High School. After I graduated from Westover, I attended the Florida A&M University, and I am a big Florida A&M fan, if you could not tell. I did my undergraduate and my graduate degree at Florida A&M. After graduating from FAMU, I went to the University of Michigan, which is where I got my law degree, and I've been
Mhm.
practicing ever since.
All right, all right. And so it seems we see the big rattler in the background. And so a lot of people have sent in questions. We have 13 seniors that'll be graduating this year. And plenty of them have sent in questions about your experience at FAMU, about steps that it took for you to graduate with your law degree and pass the bar. And so let's get started.
Okay.
So one of the questions that have came in is what inspired you to actually leave Albany, go to FAMU, and to get on the track to become a lawyer?
I actually had a sixth grade teacher who really inspired me to be a lawyer. His name is Mr. Joey James. And in my sixth grade class, I went to McIntosh, which doesn't exist anymore, but that was what sixth grade was. And then you went to Albany Middle. In his science class, to engage us, he decided to split the class up into a courtroom. And I got to be the attorney twice during those projects, and one time representing big corporations, and then the second time representing small people. And so I kind of fell in love with law and the idea of being a lawyer in sixth grade. And that continued all the way through high school. In high school, I took classes at Albany State, and I met Miss Nyota Tucker. And she really had a great influence on me, as well as continuing to pursue law, but also understanding the different practice areas and the different types of lawyers that are out there, and honing down on what kind of lawyer I wanted to be. And so that's what inspired me to go to the law direction.
And so you mentioned Miss Tucker. Miss Tucker is one of our board members here for Boys and Girls Club. And so you talk about being inspired in middle school to actually go and continue this track of being a lawyer. Have you had some good moments and good wins in cases that you would like to share?
So one of the things that I like to talk about is wins. And so the hard thing about talking about wins sometimes with cases is everything is kind of confidential. But what I
Mm-hmm.
like to do with, say, about being a lawyer and being Black and being a female is that people continuously underestimate you. People
Mm-hmm.
continuously don't take you seriously. And so what happens, and in my case, people feel like I look really young. So I've been a lawyer for 12 years, and people are like, oh, you look like you're fresh out of high school. You look like a kid. So they don't prepare. They just show up
Mm-hmm.
and figure, they've been practicing for however long they've been practicing, or that they just look more believable. They look more like a lawyer. They fit the part more, so they can just come in and wing it. And I tell
Mm-hmm.
people that preparation is better than luck. Preparation is better than just winging it and going for what you know, because when you're prepared, you can really nail a person to the wall. And so I do, in litigation especially, take great joy in that, in people not being prepared, not preparing their clients, and then being able to then just drill in. Because what you'll find is that people will try to take advantage of you. So I had a case where a lawyer just, one, he was offended that he wasn't working with the big partners. This is when I was probably a second year in my career. So he was offended that they put him against the second year, and offended that he could never talk to the partner that was above me, and that he had to work with me. So he would just tell me lies, like he would flat out lie to me. So the case ended up going what we would call a bench trial. And so oftentimes when you see lawyers on TV, you see juries and that that kind of a court process. But a lot of times on the business law side, it is a bench trial, which means there is no jury. The only person that makes the decision is the judge. And so the judge ended up issuing an opinion in my favor at the end of the trial. And generally, those kinds of things aren't published. Like it just settled. It's between the clients and
Mhm.
the parties, and everybody goes their separate way. But he was such a butthole that I called the clerk's office and asked if they could make it a published opinion. So that way, when people pulled up his cases, it'd be on record that he had lost to the second year, who he was so offended that he had to work with in the first place. So um, I think it's a good life lesson in that no matter how much experience a person has, no matter how much they
Mhm.
try to influence you to think that you're not prepared and you're not ready, you know that if you put the time and the work in, you can be as good or better than anybody else.
And so, hearing you share knowledge to young professional, young women, at our Boys and Girls Club, we have a leadership program called the Keystone, where our Keystoners are often given assignments and projects and community service projects to actually take ownership of, to develop their own business plan, to actually market and sell themselves. And so, you hit on a point about being young, in working against somebody or doing court cases against somebody that's much older. I want to piggyback on that for a moment and just talk to, if you don't mind, to the young women about how to actually stay in your lane and make a name for yourself. You don't have to persuade or do what others are doing, but just really stay focused and grounded and be knowledgeable in the career that you're going in.
So I think as young women, you have to be comfortable in the skin that you're in. And I think taking ownership and being comfortable with who you are is most important. And once you do that, then you have the strength and the courage to stand in. This is who I am. You like it or you leave it. And I think reputation, whether you're a boy or a girl, is really important. And sometimes as young women, we think we can get further by selling uh, the idea of sex and sexuality. And I think that in the professional world, that can benefit you sometimes, but it can also come back to hurt you because your reputation precedes you like it did in school. When you go to college, your reputation will you will make a new reputation. That's the great thing about going off to college. You start over, you start with a clean slate. But whatever reputation you have, whether that's a hard worker, whether that's being smart, whether that's being focused, whether that's being, wild and crazy,
Hmm.
that will follow you not just in college, but from there on. Because what I tell people is that the relationships you make in college are the ones that really have the biggest impact on your career going forward. Because what happens is that even though your classmates may seem like they're goofing off and just having a great time, they end up being in places of positions. And so if I'm in a place of position and I remember you from as being a hard worker, or if I ask somebody else who went to school with us, like, hey, do you know this person? What were they like in school? And they say, oh, they're a great worker. They're going to be a great fit for you. Then people will hire you. But on the other hand, if they be like, nah, that person cheated, you know what I mean? They never did their work. All they did was look on somebody else's paper or look, download stuff off the internet. Then you don't have that relationship, and people won't trust you with their stuff and their work because your reputation is bad. So I would say, stay grounded, stay focused, know what it is that you want to do, and don't let people persuade you to do something else. So for me, when I went to business school, everybody's like, well, if you want to be a lawyer, why go to business school, first off? And so I think the thing is understanding what you want to do and the different paths to get there. I knew I wanted to be a
Hmm.
business lawyer. So going to business school made sense. Going to poli sci didn't. I didn't want to work in politics. I didn't want to be a politician. So business school is what I wanted to do. But then being in business school and being an accountant, everybody said, well, you should just be a CPA, or how are you going to turn down, $90,000 job offer to go to law school? What happens if you don't make that much when you graduate from law school? Or you should be open to other career ideas and you should
Hmm.
consider doing this because you're really good at it. And it's like, no, I know what I want to do. I know what my passion is, and I'm going to stay focused towards that goal.
And so when you talk about passion and actually staying focused in the career mindset that you had, can you shed light on you actually launching your own law firm? and moving from being connected with one organization or company and then stepping out on your own?
Sure. So when I graduated, I went the traditional route of working for a very large law firm. And so, like in my office alone, there were 400 lawyers plus paralegals, secretaries, and all of that. And I think that depending on what type of law you want to practice, it's a very good starting point because you get to learn so much about not just the practice of law, but the business of law. So you get to see a lot of things. You get to learn what professional looks like. You get to learn what clients expect. You get to learn just a lot of different things that you wouldn't learn if you just jumped out there on your own, which there are pros to that, again, depending on what area of practice you want to be in. But from a business law standpoint, having that basis and foundation was great. However, big law is demanding. 80-hour work weeks are to be expected. And if you cannot commit to 80-hour work weeks, then you probably won't last very long. And so at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to have kids and have a family. So that wasn't practical for me long term, but I did want to learn as much as I could. And so I left big firm life and went to a smaller firm. And being in a smaller firm gave me the skill sets to understand what it would be like to have my own practice. Because in a big firm, you learn business on a high level, but you don't learn like
Mm-hmm.
the low level. This is what it's like to
Mm-hmm.
what the administrative stuff is like. This is what the bills are like. This is what the insurance process is like. And so learning what I would need to do personally to have my own practice, I was able to gain that kind of knowledge by working in a small firm. So that gave me the confidence to be able to jump out on my own because again, in a big firm, there's so much support. You have a secretary, you have paralegals who do your research. Like you don't have to do as much of the dirty work at a big firm. And so I knew I wasn't prepared immediately leaving a big firm to do that on my own, but having that small firm experience gave me the confidence and the skills I needed to transition from a really large practice to managing a smaller practice.
So, do you like being on your own?
Oh, I love it. Some of my friends who are at big firms always ask me, like, do you think you'll ever come back to big law? And I'm like, no way, Jose. Um, the thing about
So,
working for yourself is you're flexible, right? Like I
hmm
can work anywhere where there's Wi-Fi. Unless I have to go to court or meet a client in person, I literally could be in a different state, on the beach, even in a different country, and still get the work done that I need to get done. You can do it in the airport, but like I'm getting ready to board my flight, but I'm gonna send you this right before I leave, and when I land, I'll look at it. Like it just gives you so much more flexibility and freedom. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
And so when you talk about 80-hour work weeks, do you recommend to those students that are pursuing any type of degree, and especially law, to actually be aggressive, constant law changes, and constantly studying to be aggressive? What actually comes up and changes that are made?
So, to be honest, I wouldn't. If a person says to me, "Hey, you know what? I really think I want to be a lawyer." The things that I would tell them to do would be to try to find a lawyer or lawyers to talk to and shadow to figure out even what type of law you want to practice because there's so many types of areas that lawyers practice in. Of course, everybody knows about personal injury lawyers because you see them
Hmm
on TV and you see the billboards and the commercials and you hear them on the radio. You kind of get inundated with personal injury law. But outside of that, of course, there's criminal law. But there are business lawyers. There are people who only do litigation, which means they only go to court and sue people. There are people who only do transactional work, who only do contracts, who only do real estate. There are intellectual property lawyers who only deal with like patents, trademarks, and copyrights. So figuring out what kind of law you want to practice and what that life looks like. So the life of a litigator is very different than the life of a transactional person. The life of a
hmm
litigator is very demanding. You don't have any control over your schedule because if the court says that there's a hearing next week, then you got to go to a hearing next week. It doesn't matter that you wanted to go attend some other thing. Like you have to ask the court, is it okay to reschedule because you have your sister's wedding to go to. So my suggestion would be to really talk to people who are in the profession to decide what type of law I want to do, and then you'll have a better idea of what you may want to major in. So I had classmates who majored in theater. I had classmates who were artists. I had classmates who majored in English. I had a classmate who was actually a medical doctor who came back to school to practice. So I think people always say if you want to be a lawyer, you should major in political science or criminal justice. And I think that's a mistake because oftentimes when you talk to the person, they don't want to do criminal law or they don't want to be involved in the political arena. And so that's not really what you want to do. I think it's worth taking the time to find out what potential things you're interested in and then focusing your career path that way.
And so you talked about leaving Albany, graduating from Westover, going to FAMU. One of our teams just texted me and said, what made Miss Rogers go all the way to Michigan?
So to be honest, I am a different kind of person. So when it came to undergrad, I only applied to 2 schools. I only applied to Hampton and Florida A&M. And when I went to visit Hampton, at that point, I knew that I only wanted to go to Florida A&M. And so with law school, it was similar. I made a very short list based on programs that had uh, great reputations in what I wanted to do. And since I had spent my life in the South, and I thought at that time that I wanted to live in Chicago because I had done some internships in the Midwest and in the North. So I thought, hey, I think I might want to live in Chicago when I first graduated and practice. And so going to school in Michigan would make an easy transition to Chicago. It just was a good fit. I went to visit it. I always encourage people, schools look great on paper, but visiting them is key because when you go, you may not like it. Like I said, I only applied to Hampton and FAM, and I went to visit Hampton and I went to visit FAM, and I was like, there's no way that I'm going to Hampton. Like, I don't like it. I don't want to be here. I don't fit well with the people. And so when I went to Michigan, I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with like the professors, the admissions director. And so I knew that was the place for me. It was just way too cold. Way too cold.
It was the marching band that sold you at FAMU.
It was the set. It was the social. So the set is like a gathering place on campus, and on Fridays, which is when I went, it was a probate show, and the campus is just alive, a lot of people, a lot of energy, and I was like, this is the place for me.
And so, do you find balance and timing for enjoying your work life, social life, and family life? How do you balance all of your timing?
So what I always tell people is that you make time for what you want to make time for, right? And so the thing about life is you have to set priorities. You have to decide what's important. And so everybody gets the same 24 hours in a day, but it's really how you decide to use them. If you say if anybody knows me, they know I don't do social media a lot. And that's because I know myself. I have a personality where I like to be very detail oriented. So social media pulls me in, and if I get on it, then I know that's 2 or 3 hours wasted because I'm just scrolling and I want to go to the last point I stopped, which could take
Never ends.
it never ends. And so it's a time suck. It's a complete waste of your day and your energy because what happens in it is like I said, one, you get sucked in and you're on there 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day where you could have been doing something more productive. But if you're not really grounded in yourself and knowledgeable about life, you'll be fooled because I do legal work for a lot of social media influencers, and like how posed the pictures are. Like that one picture that you see, they might have taken that picture 30 times. Like, oh no, the light's not right. Oh, I'm not like, can you do it again? Can you do it again? Or it's not their house. It's not their car. It's not even their bags that they're buying. Like they will buy the things, take the picture and return it. Like the lifestyle that sometimes social media influencers give off is just really fake. And so you can get caught up in that and start being jealous and start being insecure about yourself and feeling like, you know what, they're the same age as me and I'm not doing this. It must be something wrong with me, and it's not. So I just take that out of my day. But I know that spending time with my kids is important. So if I'm spending time with the person, my phone is down. You get my full attention. Same thing with my clients. Because your clients don't want to be distracted. Like if they're paying for your time, they want to know that they've got your time. Not that you're multitasking, being on your phone, texting somebody else, doing that. They want your time and attention. And so I find that giving my time and attention to the task that I'm doing, one, helps me be more efficient. And it gives me the flexibility and the freedom to have time to do other things. So, I have a lot of time, and I believe in balance. I think if you
Hmm.
only work hard all the time, you're going to burn out. And burnout is real. People, do great high school, do great college, and then they get in the real world and they fizzle. And it's because they're tired. You have to take the time to balance, find out what your passions and your hobbies are, and make time to do those things.
And so, as we prepare to wrap up, um, is there any advice or words of encouragement that you would can share to teens that are listening and to children and young adults that are listening on dreams and aspirations as they continue to soar? We have a great number of students that are graduating from high school, and to them, this is a completely different world that they are living in over the past 3 months. And so just share some inspirations to our listeners and viewers.
Well, one of the things that I always tell people is if you can see it, you can be it. And so if there is something that you want to do, or someone who you admire and wish that you could, live in a life similar to theirs, I think it's possible. But you've got to be willing to put in the hard work. I think, again, sometimes we make things look easier than they are. So people just think, oh, well, if I want to do this, then I should just be able to do it and it's going to be easy. But it's not going to be easy. Nothing that's worth having is easy, whether that's a career, family, you know, friendships, vehicles, homes, like whatever it is that you really want, you're going to have to work for it and you've got to be willing to make sacrifices to do so. Um, I think that it is important to know your dreams and don't let other people influence you. So when I was graduating from Westover, and again, I only applied to 2 schools, everybody would thought I was crazy. I don't know why you're doing that. What happens if you don't get scholarships to those places? Why do you even want to go to those 2 schools? Like I had done summer programs at Harvard and Yale, and people thought I should go to Georgia or I should be going to, big predominantly white institutions. But I knew that wasn't the path that I wanted to take. And I was very secure in that, even though, there were lots of people telling me I was making a bad decision by going to an HBCU. So I think you have to be grounded. Another thing that happens is you have your heart set on a dream school and you don't get in. And so sometimes you decide to go to another school. And sometimes what I tell kids is that maybe you shouldn't give up on that dream. If you go to a JUCO and do 2 years at a JUCO and show that you've really um, focused and have put in the time and effort to improve whatever scores that you needed to improve to get into the school you really wanted to go to, transferring to that school sometimes is better than just, sucking it up and going to the school you never really wanted to go to in the first place. I think the what happens, you hear so much about kids going to college, having so much debt, and then not being able to get a job and not being able to do that. Like college matters. Where you go to college matters, and people aren't always very upfront and honest about that. And so you want to talk to the school. Like if you say, okay, I want to go to X, Y, and Z, and I want to go there because they pop, like their alum are popping on social media. They make it look so alive. Make sure that their program is good. Like FAMU had the best business program at any HBCU, which is why I wanted to go there in the first place. But make sure that the school has a good program in what you actually want to do. And then talk to somebody, whether it's an admissions counselor or if you know where you want to work, an employer, to say, do you hire people that majored in this from that school? What do your graduates look like? Are your graduates employed? Where are they employed? How long does it take them to get employed? And if they can't give you that information, or they ain't got a hem and haw about, oh, let me find it, that's probably not a good place. So you can go to JUCO for free or for very little and save yourself a lot of money by going to a bigger or better institution and being able to have that institution. Because when you graduate, you get a degree. It doesn't say I only did 2 years at this school. You get a degree from that school, and so you can say I'm a graduate of X, Y, and Z university, and then use that as a way to build your career from there. So I'd say stay focused, stay on your grind. Don't get distracted. Don't get pulled into other people's mess, because other people will pull you in their mess and leave you in that mess, and they'll get out of it, and you'll be stuck and not doing the thing that you originally wanted to do because you were trying to help them, and now they're going on with their life. So I think those would be my top 3 things.
And those are great words of advice to everybody. Don't get bogged down in what others are doing or saying around you. Stay grounded and rooted in who you are. And make sure that you learn how to balance. I believe that Ms. Rogers shared a lot of great points with us today about how to balance life, how to actually maneuver through life. And even far as those who are aspiring to be lawyers, hey, make sure that you research where you got to go. Research the different internships that you can obtain from the various colleges. And so, Miss Rogers, hey, we say thank you.
I have one last thing that I forgot. I believe in something, whether that's Allah, God, believe in a higher power, and be faithful in that, because like I said, there are going to be challenges that arise in your life, and being grounded in your faith will really help you get through those challenges in life. And so I know everybody has their own religious beliefs, and I'm not here to challenge that or change that, but whatever it is you believe in, make sure that you're grounded in that, and that you take that with you to college, because sometimes you go to college, you get loose and you free, and like, I ain't going, I hate it getting up, but keep that, because when things get hard and mama and daddy, grandma, auntie, uncle aren't there, you're going to need something that you can hold on to. And that faith and that church family can really be an extension of family when you're in a strange place.
Hey, yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. And so, listen, I thank you so much for this opportunity. You don't know how much I'm smiling and bragging on the inside.
Well, thank
For
you for
all of
having me.
for all of our listeners and viewers from across America, we have people tuned in from Boys and Girls Club, far as New York, far as California, everywhere that's tuned in today. I hope you all have enjoyed this segment. Miss Rogers, I thank you so much for this opportunity. My big sister, I call her, y'all. And so, yeah, I mean, I literally, hey, you've been an inspiration to me all these years that I've known you. And you set the trailblazer for me. And so I'm forever grateful for everything that you've done to motivate me and inspire me to be what I am today. And so I hope that I'm making you proud in every aspect.
Oh, you are. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Everybody, you get where you are, help somebody else to get past you, right? Like, you want to be a stepping stone, so that way I can kick in the door a little bit, and then somebody come behind me and take it even further for the next person.
Yes. Oh, she didn't tell y'all that she's an author as well. So maybe this summer we can get her to do a book club for us or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, yeah, no, I'd be happy to do it. You know, I'm all about service and giving back, so I'd be happy to help any way I can.
Hey, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, and congratulations to all the graduates. You're already blazing a new path, and so just stick with it.
Hey, all right. Hey, listen, we got some of the smartest graduates. I checked the list today. Out of all 13 of our graduates, we have 10 that have 3.5 or higher
That's
GPAs.
amazing.
And so, I mean, yeah, we're talking about doing something great. And we're enjoying the opportunity. They're getting ready to go next week through a Hill Hopper. It's going to do a book club with our seniors. And so, yeah, we're enjoying with the opportunities that they are experiencing through this COVID-19.
Yeah, the
And
world doesn't
so,
stop, and neither should you. So just keep going and stay focused.
hey, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day now.
All right, you too. Thanks again.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hey, listen, I hope that you've been inspired by the knowledge that have been shared by Lieutenant Smith and Attorney Rogers today. Such great words of knowledge and motivation to our seniors that are graduating. Hey, you don't know what it means to have people pushing and supporting you on your everyday journey. Stay tuned next week. We will have none other than CEO himself, Mr. Shannon James, to come on and share with you during our Career on Wheels talk. And so, hey, as always, make sure that you complete the Google form in the comments. Let us know what you think about what we're doing here on our career talks. Any speakers that you would like to recommend, let us know. And to shout out to all of the Boys and Girls Clubs that are tuning in across the country. Until next time, hey, we'll see you later.